Hello there. My name's Mark the Canardian, and this is episode 77 of Holocron Chronicles. I'm joined. I was gonna say I'm joined as always, but it's been a bit. Charlie, welcome back.
You know, my voyages as a Jedi smuggler, rebel colonel take me to the different corners of the quadrant. So, yeah, sometimes I miss a show or two. I am the absentee dad of this program. I'm sorry to say. You know, I'll see you on weekends, Buster. I do the best I can.
Man, it is great to have you back. I'm happy to see you before the holidays and get one last show in, and it's going to be a good one. And we are joined by not one but two special guests, double trouble. We've got TheDripJedi and KingBee 2002. I got the number right, 2002. There we go. Hopefully, anyone listening to the show already heard the Drips episode a little while back, but this is our first time having KingBee on the show. I'm super excited to have you both on here. Welcome, fellas.
Glad to be here. Like Kira Carson, the Old Republic said, glad to be back.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cool.
Amazing. We are going to learn all about B very, very soon. We're going to get a little update on what Drip's been doing. But first, we have to thank some very special people that help us out over on our Patreon page. Charlie, you want to
oh my goodness,
now, thank you list?
Now I got to sing for my supper. Yeah, we've got some great folks that help us make some additional great content over on our Patreon at patreon.com/secretfriendsunite. Mark, it's been a while. We'd love to see some great new content from you. I know we've been talking about some stuff, but at the time in between, Todd Oxtra, who is our third partner, he and I do a great comic book show bi-weekly called The Spinner Rack. I have a super fun program called The Facts of Geek Life, where I take a classic series, classic season, we take 3 or 4 episodes, myself plus a guest, and we just break it down. We have a lot of fun, and so we want to give some extra special love to our friends that support us financially, make it possible. Over on our Friends with Benefits level, we do have Corey and HD, John Sedorf, the Phoenix Sisters cosplay, lovely ladies, Mr. Brendan Myers, and on the BFF levels, we have the awesome Nias family of the Twin Cities, Sean, Stella, and Henry, my dear friend Missy Merchant, and we got a couple of newer folks, Matthew Keel, who's a longtime collaborator and fan of the show, and someone who I missed, who unfortunately filled in for me once when I was not around, the Asian Sith Mistress. Yes. Wow, I can't wait to have her come back and so that we collaborate, because she seems like she's pretty awesome. So we are really grateful for these folks. Do remember you can visit patreon.com/secretfriendsunite, do a free 7-day trial, take a sampling of our content, and if you like what you hear, stick around a bit. We'd love to have you.
Definitely. I don't know if you listen to Charlie. I know it's probably not your jam, but Co-op Mode. Matthew Keel was our last guest with Todd and I, and he did the Patreon subscription live during the show. He threw us right off. So you can actually watch our reaction on YouTube right now. If you head over to our YouTube channel, you can watch like Todd and I just go into like utter disbelief and shock of like, someone signed up during the show. What's going on here? And he was like, aha, tricked you guys. And it was like, just threw us right off and completely.
It's okay. Trick me with your money. I'll take it. I like it.
Fine. It was great. If you cannot support us over on Patreon, that is okay. That is perfectly fine. We appreciate you listening and appreciate you subscribing wherever you can, whether it's on a podcast service or YouTube. So, do that and share, leave a review, all that kind of stuff. Every single bit helps, whether it's financial or just sharing it to whoever you know. With all that stuff out of the way and all good and all that kind of whatever.
Let's pay the bills. Yeah.
That's it. We gotta get that stuff out of the way so we can get to our guests. First off, Drip, how you doing, man? It's been a bit. What's new? What have you been up to?
I'm good, actually. We both actually started a new job back in June. We work in a grocery store, but you do what you got to do for now. And
Yeah.
So we've been working a lot mostly, but you know, whenever I have off days or I get off work when I'm working morning shifts and all that, I make content. So, you know, as y'all already know, my content revolves around lightsabers. So, you know, I've just been making like spin videos or scenario videos or skits, you know, that involve lightsabers. So, and I've been making a lot of videos where, you know, I'm like, you know, lightsabers that I wish would come true in canon, you know, because there's lightsabers from like the Old Republic and other video games. They made the Starkiller sabers from Force Unleashed 2 recently. So I'm like, you know, the Old Republic, y'all should take sabers from that. And they just recently came out with Satil Shan, so maybe someone saw my videos. I don't know.
Maybe.
But
nice.
But I'm like, yeah, I make those videos, and yeah, just been doing a lot of saber videos because, you know, I like lightsabers. Who doesn't? And I also like to do martial arts, you know, and bojitsu in particular, because, you know, I have a bow staff and I translate that over to double bladed lightsaber. And I like to make a lot of, my favorite thing to do is making tutorials. So I make tutorials for my audience to see, you know, just show them how to do simple moves with the staff and the saber, you know. But yeah, just lightsabers so far.
I love your tutorials, man. It's great. Anytime I can learn something new or like see you do something and like I'm like I might be able to try that. I might pull that off. And I love like TikTok, Instagram, following as many lightsaber artists as I can and just be like, okay, let's go outside and see if I can do this for like 10 minutes without knocking myself out. Because there was one, I don't know if you saw a little while ago, I posted a video of me trying to do this like front flip spin catch kind of thing. And I did that for a second and I missed a catch and like smacked myself in the forehead. But like,
you caught it all right, just caught it in the wrong way.
That's it. So as long as your videos don't lead to that, I love it.
Yeah. I've hit myself too.
Yeah, I'll be like, what happened here? You'd be like, I hit myself.
And I just played off like it's just fine.
I'm like, bro, you gotta be
do that.
That's what's called affectionately referred to as stage health. Mark and I both dealt with it. You feel like crap, but you know what? The show's got to go on. We are all entertainers in our own way.
That's true.
You know, you got to suck it up. You got to move forward.
Yes, that's actually said in one video because someone was like, I was doing the skip catch, which is a move I like to do with my bow staff. You know, it spins in a circle. It was like, I can never do that, and I'm like, sure you could. And I was like, I hit myself all the time. No, they said they couldn't do it because they're afraid to hit themselves. So I said, I still have it on.
Come on.
And I was like, that's how life is. It hits you, you get right back up. The same with the staff.
True.
Keep moving.
True.
I might repost that. Actually.
You bet.
You definitely should.
Awesome.
I love you've been doing a couple of new videos of like you using the Force to assemble a lightsaber. I loved
because
I saw a couple of those.
Zion was at work the other day, and I was just laying in bed, and I was on YouTube. I'm like, what can I watch? So I was sick of watching SpongeBob. I'm sick of watching Phineas and Ferb. So I was like, let's watch SpongeBob. So I looked up Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and I was watching the episode where it was Ahsoka and the young one, right? Y'all know that scene where the enemies are putting together the sabers with the Force. I'm watching that. I want to do that. And every time I set my mind to something that comes with editing, I figure it out.
Yeah.
So I'm just laying in bed pondering, how can I do this? Okay. I'm going to take a saber picture, delete the background, turn that into a PNG, open up CapCut, use the split effect to where the saber splits into pieces, and then just record myself. Then I put it together, added a sound. There's the video. One thing about me.
That's awesome. Damn.
I teach myself edits. I edit all my friends' videos who I offer.
Yeah, that's true.
I think, Mark, this Padawan has a bright future.
Yeah. I think actually in this case he might be the master in this case because that's
I don't consider
Shante.
Unless Michelle C. Smith or Carly King say it.
Yeah, then
I learned from them.
Fair enough. Every master has a master, I suppose, right? So that's it. You know, it was different levels of teaching.
That's the thing as being creators. I don't like to brag.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like anyone to like, you know, make someone feel like they're little.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're all still, you know.
Yeah, I'm still a normal guy. I still work a 9 to 5. I have lightsabers like a lot of people. You know.
Yeah.
I have lightsabers like a lot of people. You don't hear that on a lot of shows.
Well,
that's for sure. But I love that. It's not like I put my pants on one leg at a time. It's like I got lightsabers just like everybody does.
The thing a lot of people we follow have lightsabers.
Yeah, it's like you can't see a new creator and they're like they have a lightsaber too.
Yeah, so, Draco just got it, and Freddie got one. But yeah.
Awesome.
Any plans for the new year that you can tell us about? Do you have anything kind of brewing, or is it you just kind of keeping it secret until it's released?
I actually, I got some collabs. I got some good. Need some mints. I got some
Yeah, man.
collabs coming too soon. You guys would love to be a part of it if you want.
Perfect. I'm
For
always
now,
down. We
yeah,
just did one not that long ago.
oh yeah, you was in that trend, and I'm posting part 2
Yeah.
tomorrow where we say we're Star Wars fans.
Oh, right.
Yours was the best
Yeah.
one, so I put that for last.
Yours was pretty cool.
Zion, you got to record.
Yeah, I gotta.
I'm also doing one where, and y'all know how I put together, how I was like, I want to do that with the Force and all that.
Yeah.
This is how I'm doing this collab. It's coming soon. Y'all know how you play like, I'm just gonna name an example, Marvel vs. Capcom or Tekken, and you play, you go to the character bios and you read that character. You read their bios, like their hometown, what their story is, that kind of stuff.
Just everything.
I'm picturing that, but me, Zion, and a lot of our other mutuals who'd be down for it, of course.
Yeah.
And I posted on my page. And not only would not only my followers see them, and then they get more followers, more exposure and all that other stuff. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, it would really be
I don't know what to name it yet. Basically, we're video game characters somewhat, and these are our bios.
Yeah.
Like,
if you can call it the video
Love
game
that.
bio. The video game bio,
Star Wars creators or something.
collab.
So, like, for
Yeah.
example, here's Zion. Favorite color, birthplace. Well, people don't have to put birthplace if they want
Yeah,
to.
you don't have to.
I'm just gonna say Georgia because that's all y'all need to know. Georgia.
Those mysterious people, like parts unknown kind of thing.
Parts
You always
unknown.
get that in a fighting game, right?
The open road.
Yeah.
So I got that coming soon. And as far as anything else, I'm just probably gonna stick to sabers for now.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything new.
Do what you know.
But yeah, stick to what I know.
Perfect. B, I gotta learn more about you. We found out most of these questions when Drip was on last time. So I want to know, how did you get into Star Wars?
Let me remember. I got into Star Wars when I think it was when did I get into Star Wars? I think it was like, it was a long time ago. Like I was playing like I was watching the I think it was the Phantom Menace, and like I saw like the duels and all that, and I was like, this movie is pretty cool. So I was like watching like, them fight Maul and all that, and I was watching that scene like over and over. Then I remember one day that I think it was the complete saga. We got the complete saga for the Wii, and we was waiting for our mom to get home. So like she went out to get the game, and we was just waiting that whole time for us to play the game. Like we were waiting. You remember that day? We were waiting. It was like midnight, I think. So I was like, I still want to play this game, but like at the time
we had school the next day.
I had to go back to sleep. So then the next
Wow.
so then the next day I could play it, and I was like, this game's really fun. So then I started playing from there, and then I started watching the other shows like Clone Wars, of course, and then recently got into Rebels. Rebels, obviously, I should have watched it sooner. It's a great show.
Watch Rebels.
Then we played like the Old Republic, of course, Jedi Knight Academy. You know what I'm saying? Kyle Katarn, one of my favorite characters. Then what else did we play? And we got a lot.
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. Then we got that one too. But we played it backwards. We played the second one, then the first one.
Yeah, so we was like, who is Starkiller?
He's like, who is
We
that
played the
dude?
second one. Then we played
Yeah.
You stole the surprise.
right.
Whatever works. Yeah.
Too.
That's amazing. I love the.
Oh my God. You see,
great.
that's the thing. I'm not a gamer, but that is the only games that I play are Lego games. And when my kids were young, we discovered, and I had that as well. Yeah, that one you can still get on the PlayStation Store. I did it as recently as a couple of years ago. Now, I don't game much at all. I leave that to Mark and I leave that to Todd. But those Lego games, I know them backwards and forwards. The Star Wars games,
And you can't see it, obviously. We got episode 4 poster that like right there.
It's right behind the camera.
Yeah.
Holographic.
Oh, yeah.
I got that.
Do you have?
Cool.
Star Wars backdrop for our room. Make videos like Balance of the Force.
One of my friends actually recently got me a Christmas present. It's a Darth Vader blanket. It's on my bed right now.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
And then I got the
Star Wars.
I-
Man, that's I'm wearing one right now. It's the best.
I had those OG Star Wars sheets back in the 80s when I was a kid. See, I'm an old man. See, so I lived through the original trilogy and all of that original merch. So yeah, sheets. OG
cool.
sheets.
Prequel fans.
I love it. Do you have a specific favorite? I usually ask movie or show, but I'm going to throw in games here because we don't usually get someone that like some of their first experiences in Star Wars were games. So do you have like a favorite Star Wars thing that, like, if you could only pick one Star Wars like movie, game, TV show, something like that to watch, what would it be?
Okay, so like of all time, basically
Yep.
all time. Let me think. For show, definitely Clone Wars. For game, well, for movie, probably it's between episode 2 and 3. Like those are good movies. And for games, Jedi Star Wars Jedi Knight Academy. That's one of my favorites. That's his favorite. That's my favorite
Nice.
of the time.
Good.
Excellent. Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So is that your favorite character? That, because that's my next question. Like, what's your favorite character? Is it Kyle?
Kyle Katarn. That's probably one of my favorite characters, bro. I'm trying to get
the great beard.
Yeah, because Deluxe Sabers has it. Fake Saber Theory has it. The Kyle Katarn Saber.
It's funny too because I remember when I first played Jedi Knight Academy. I was it was Outcast. That was the first one I played, obviously. Yeah. Then it was Jedi Knight Academy. Mm-hmm. So when I got it, I went to GameStop I went to go get a new game. So I was like, what game should I get? So I was looking at the games and I was like, that's Star Wars one. So I picked it up and I'm like, I was reading on the back of it. It showed a lot of lightsabers, Jedi. I'm like, buying it. Here, shut up and take my money. So then I bought it and went home. And then I was reading more about the character. I'm like, Kyle Katarn, okay. So this takes place around Luke's era. So I'm like, right, this is interesting. So then I was like, using the blasters, and then I was like, he was talking about his girl Jen. I'm like, this is actually a pretty cool character. So then I was like, okay, but I'm waiting to get to the lightsaber. And then when I fought Desant, he was basically saying like, you're an unworthy foe. Like before he said, come back to me. He basically was like, come back to me when you have a lightsaber. How about that? So then when I got my saber, I was like, what's up? Where's he at? So then I was like, I had to fight his apprentice. I'm like, made short work of her, and he was like, what does he say? He said, go and pray that I find your master before he finds you. And I'm like, oh, that was sad. I was like, finally got to it. I was like, I'm ready. What's up?
That's the third game in that series.
What'd you say?
If I'm not mistaken, is that the third game in that series, like Jedi Academy?
I think so. I think there was one, right? I think there was one before the Outcast, because I remember he was a Jedi. He just abandoned it for a while, and then he came back to find his saber. I haven't played that game, but I played the Outcast and the Jedi Knight Academy. Okay. So I remember he went back to the temple. He was like, "Luke, where's my lightsaber at?" Basically, he was like, "Yeah, you have to have patience." I'm like, "Okay, but where's my saber at, bro? Where's it at?"
That's all I care about.
Where's it at?
Yeah.
Don't care.
That's amazing. All right, I think I know the answer to this just based on what you like, but I have to ask because I've been surprised before. Do you lean light side or dark side?
I'm more light side. I'm gonna be honest with you. If it came to it, and like I could see my brother being the dark side one. If we had to go at it, what's up? What's up?
I already have a Palpatine saber.
What's up?
I was just gonna say, Palpatine saber's never that far.
Right.
Amazing.
He is the Sith. Look at him.
He's ready.
Like I agree with some of the stuff the Jedi talk about, but I don't agree with that, like abandoning the family thing.
Yeah, and then the love too.
Like the Jedi are technically our family if you think about it. Like we care about everyone. Like if someone goes down in a fight, we're gonna care about them.
Well, human instinct wants us to care about it, but we have to be a Jedi.
Be like,
because Obi-Wan saw Adigalia die, he could have relapsed, but he was like, no, he kept fighting.
And then he saw his girl die in front of him.
Yeah, Satine.
But Satine could have turned to dark side, but he's a true Jedi.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you see some of the best Jedi. I know you're just watching Rebels, so I'm not going to say too much about that. But there's a character in that one. It's like
that would have been deep.
That'd have been so deep.
But yeah.
Favorite. I'm going to say like a two-parter. Favorite lightsaber color of choice, and then do you have like a favorite hilt?
Okay.
Drip, I know you love Palpatines. Is there any others that you love? And what's your favorite color to pair it with?
There's Shin Hati, there's Palpatine, and there's also Nadar Veb, but he's underrated to the point to where no one really knows who he is. If I say Nadar Veb, he was Kit Fisto's Padawan in that one episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, season 1, I think episode 7 or 8, Lair of Grievous, where he and Kit Fisto and the clones go to the Lair of Grievous. He was that clone, not clone. He was the Jedi who was fighting Grievous, and he pulled that dirty move where he split his arms and shot him in the stomach. That's not our Veb. His lightsaber is pretty cool looking to me, but he's underrated, meaning his saber's underrated. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, see, that's what I'm saying. They need to make that saber, then they may make all the other underrated Jedi sabers. There's a whole lot more than just Obi-Wan. Mm-hmm. But that one, Shin Hati and Palpatine, pretty much.
Yeah.
I have sabers I don't like, but I don't want to, because people might like it too, but these are the ones I don't.
Yeah.
B, what about you?
If we're talking, let me think. I mean, obviously, I love Kyle Katarn. That's my favorite saber. I just need to get it next. That's my next saber. But besides Kyle Katarn, I definitely like the first Ezra saber. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
First saber. Yeah. I like that one because it was unique. And he was like, "Okay, this one might work," and he used it, and he was like, I was like, "Okay, it's pretty interesting." I was like, I like that one.
That one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that. Because you get some Jedi, like you get Luke, you get Cal Kestis, and they'll use a gun, but no one's ever had the balls to be like, what are you talking about, Obi-Wan? Like so uncivilized. No, I'm gonna build a lightsaber into a gun. Like
very nice.
Come on.
Very nice. I like that.
It wasn't even really a gun. It was like stun. Because it didn't kill, it just stunned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was pretty Jedi-like too. You don't kill, you just put him out.
And Rex was impressed. He was like, "Okay, kid."
Rex was like, "You shot me."
He said, "Okay, kid."
Yeah, right.
He shot you.
He was like, "Chopper too much, honestly. Chopper too much."
I love Chopper, man.
Watching this, Chopper's awesome.
Yeah, he's.
What? So you guys have a lot of lightsabers. I know that. Is there a favorite collectible for either of you, whether it's a lightsaber or something different? Do you have a favorite Star Wars collectible or thing, like item? Is it, poster, a toy, a lightsaber? Like if you could save one thing, what would it be?
Around
I have Grogu. He's in the living room.
Yeah, our living room is decorated. We do.
There's a lot of Grogu in this house too. And my wife took a liking to it. My son picked up anything he could find. So it's all over her office upstairs because she's a home office. It's out of control.
But to answer your question, it'd probably just be this, because I took the blade out because I put it in my Shin Hati saber to spin. So this is just on display on our TV.
Yeah.
So it'd probably be this hilt so far, but I got more coming soon. I already know that.
Yeah.
Probably just the Palpatine saber for now. I don't really collect stuff like a lot of our mutuals do.
Yeah.
Because I just like lightsabers. But that's about it.
Yeah.
The Palpatine for the win. Nice.
B, what about you? Anything stand out for you?
I mean, besides my sabers, I guess one of my Grogu's that I have, it's like a talking Grogu. It's pretty cool.
Oh, awesome!
It's one of those moves.
That's so
There's
cool.
Ashes blankets we were sent.
Oh yeah,
those two.
Oh yeah, that's
we have that talking Grogu by our front door. Again, a gift from my son. But with the swap out accessories, it will do different things. Like there's a cookie, and there's his ball that he'll like use the Force on it. With a cookie, he'll chew on it, and if you take it away, he fusses. It's pretty cool. And it's awesome. By the front door. I also consequently use him as a hat rack from time to time because my baseball cap will fit right over his head. Like, oh, thanks, Grogu. On my way out the door.
Yeah.
Gotta use the furniture you have, right? I have my pirate Jedi hat on top of my Mando helmet that's behind me.
Very nice.
The last week, I just moved it before we recorded. I was like, I can't have that on top of Mando. Someone will the Mandos that follow me.
Use the space. I'm very lucky to have the space I recorded. I'm blessed. I love it.
Oh yeah, that's cool because our room is tiny.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Like we're in a small right now.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Yeah, this is the finished part of the basement, but my wife and I are empty nesters, so we don't have any kids running around. So I was able to convert. Lucky. I enjoy it. I enjoy it's my
kitchen.
creative energy. It's all right here.
I love your backdrop.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I mean, and there's certainly a lot more move side to side. There's all the Star Wars figures, as a matter of fact.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yes,
That's
yes,
nice.
yes. Going back this way, more and more.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
not that I'm
I need
looking
to
to
do
steal.
one like my own house.
So,
Definitely.
anyway.
Amazing. All right. Where am I? Favorite affiliation. So, B, so this could be anything from like Jedi, bounty hunters, Sith, rebels, like Wookiees. Like, who are you hanging out with for a day if you could go and hang out in Star Wars? Like space pirates? Like who are you?
Wookiee hang.
If you had like one day to hang out in the Star Wars universe, who would you want to go chill with?
Let me think. I mean, the Wookiees are pretty cool. Let me think though. I mean, obviously, I probably would hang with the Jedi, obviously, because I'm a Jedi. But besides them, I probably would hang out with the Wookiees. I feel like they be have fun time.
They throw some parties.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you've seen the holiday special. You know the kind of stuff they're into. So
anytime that question comes up of like, what Star Wars planet do you pick? Kashyyyk, all the way, every time. Hang out with Wookiees.
City.
Yeah,
I mean, not Endor because the Ewoks are cannibals. You don't want to deal with that stuff.
Oh,
Or they're carnivores anyway, I guess.
Carnivores.
I would probably hang out with some Twi'lek girls.
Especially the way they dress. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
I'm only human, even if they're not.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer. I can't just say anything against that one. Yeah, no, that's a good one. All right. What was that?
He said, "Forget the Jedi code. I'm gonna have some girls with me. I don't care."
Is that one of those? What
Right?
happens on Kashyyyk stays on Kashyyyk. It's Space Vegas. Could be. Well, no, that's Canto Bight. Well, maybe you should go to Canto Bight, but take the Wookiees with you.
Yeah, fellas, we better get some girls. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, oh
Lord. Oh,
let's get it.
Amazing.
I don't know.
All right. Final question I have. Basically, I love to ask people if they went to the Star Wars universe, what hilarious, crazy, zany way do you think you might end up getting killed?
Bad news. You can't say Wookiee Ewok three-way because that was mine. Sorry.
That was Charlie's.
No.
Mine would be I'd find a Rancor or something. I'd be like, "Come here, you're so cute. Come here,
kitty. Here, kitty."
Yeah. And I just get eaten by some
like
fire-breathing demon dog on some crazy planet. So, what do you guys have? Drip, you can. I don't know if did you get this one the first time?
I don't remember if I answered or not. Honestly, I've never even thought about that. But just like Sam Jackson, I wouldn't want to, in his words, die like some punk.
Yeah,
I want to go out spectacular as well.
True.
I don't want to take his like out a window. I don't know. I have to think about that one.
So this is basically like a dumb way to die kind of thing.
How would you want to
exactly
super dumb, like super avoidable, like you walked into it.
Well, if I'm being honest with you, I want if I had to go out on Star Wars, I want to protect a little kid. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Go out fighting.
Yes.
Yes.
So jump in front of Anakin and be like, "What you got?" Oh, that's what you got. Get cut in half like one of those Saw movies.
Mm-hmm.
Go out fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's very noble.
No, definitely not.
No, that's excellent. Very very noble ways to go.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. That's it. I'm very happy that we got to know a little bit about how you got into Star Wars. I think there's only one bit of news, so we might as well we'll tackle that next, and we'll get into like the big topic of the show. But for the news, I saw an interview with Adam Driver just a couple of days ago, and he was saying that the original arc for Kylo Ren was very different than it finished. And we know like they were doing rewrites and all that kind of stuff, and like the sequel trilogy kind of changed all over the place. But one of the first things they told Adam Driver was the original plan was supposed to be, the original trilogy, you saw Darth Vader and he was like pure dark side in the first one. And by the end of Return of the Jedi, he came back to the light. So
Like the last 15 minutes,
in the last,
he got
right?
cozy.
He still did.
Yeah.
But then, so Kylo Ren's arc was supposed to be very conflicted in the first movie, maybe even a little bit in the second movie, where, should he go with Han? Should he not? He's being, and he talked about that in the first movie so many times, I'm being torn apart. I don't know what to do, blah, blah, blah. And by the end of it, the original idea was to just have him go full dark side, embrace the darkness, just no redemption, no coming back. He is just gone. So I thought that was interesting. Obviously, that's not what happened. But I wanted to get your opinion, everyone, on this. And we'll start with B. What do you think about that being the arc? Would you have preferred them to go that way, or are you kind of happy where we saw Ben come back?
Well, I like that Ben came back, to be honest, but I don't really. If that happened, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he went full dark and he was like, "Come join me," but like he tried building his own empire, and then that's another thing for another movie. If they make another movie outside that, I'm not too surprised, to be honest, if they did that. To be honest, you know what I'm saying? Because I remember, because I love Kyle Katarn. I read about his story. And when he attacked the temple, in the sequels, apparently, I was reading this thing, and apparently that he took down Kyle Katarn. And I was reading this, I was like, how do you take down someone as skilled as Kyle Katarn? So
means he got some dark side.
He's got some dark side for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it in the back pocket.
Yeah. So I could see it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got to watch the sequels again, really.
Yeah.
But I can see it.
Yeah, Drip, you're feeling the same kind of thing. Like, did you like that Ben came back, or you kind of
like that he came back? Actually, it was like really, because he died, of course.
Yeah.
And then he came back. Now if he'd have lived and came back, that'd have been different. But I do like he came back.
Same.
Because that's what Vader did. But of course, it was late.
It was late too.
But late than that, right?
Right.
He saved the
right.
Yeah, it definitely mirrored Vader's. Coming back, saving things, dying, becoming one with the Force. Who knows if we'll see him back as a Force spirit or something like that. It'd be kind of interesting to see with, Rey's movie that's happening sometime soon, I guess. So,
potentially.
Surely.
I could see it either way, simply because you try to think conceptually about, well, how would the movie have otherwise ended? Because, it was a big triumph over evil, and where would he fit into that? That would be challenging. But it almost feels like the way that they went was a little too safe, because it did mirror what we saw in Jedi, and it happened even more in even more slanted fashion, that he and Rey had this dance in The Last Jedi, and then it transitioned into she killed him and brought him back, and then he brought her back, and it was
it was kind of like it was just too much.
Yeah, it was a little too safe. But then if they had gone in the other direction, where would that film have ended? You know what I mean? But I mean, in a lot of ways, we've talked about The Rise of Skywalker many, many times. The movie, a lot of people do kind of consider it to be a mess in a lot of different ways. Mark, I know you're a very big fan of the sequel trilogy. Respect to that. But that movie was where The Last Jedi was divisive. I found parts of it to be incredible. Rise of Skywalker, I didn't feel quite that way. I just, they went in a lot of weird directions. For the purpose of what they did to end that film, they kind of had to go the way they did. But had it been a different film altogether, it would have been a bolder choice and a more interesting, probably dramatic choice, I think, to make him go in the exact opposite, especially considering his arc of, Luke, raising his hand in anger against him, and that's what pushed him over the edge, and maybe that's a trajectory that just couldn't be stopped, and it ultimately led to his death. That would kind of been the only way. Yeah, that is a tough one to quantify, but I will tell you that, yeah, I think the way they went was kind of safe and easy, and just kind of a photocopy in its own way of Jedi, because again, each one of those three films mirrored the same sequence of films in the original trilogy. So it was, The Force Awakens to A New Hope, it was The Last Jedi to The Empire Strikes Back, and then obviously it was The Rise of Skywalker to Return of the Jedi. And it just would have been interesting to see things go in a different direction, to have a little bit more cohesive vision instead of what sounds like it was a total flip around. So anyway.
Yeah, and in the same oh, sorry, go ahead.
And it's funny because all the movies, the very end, it ended with Sidious, lightning.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
It all ended.
So much lightning.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta have some more lightning. Lightning. Mark, break it down.
I mean, the same article that from Variety that I have in the show notes there, that I kind of read the synopsis of this after the interview. They also mentioned like Daisy Ridley talking about Rey having a connection with Obi-Wan potentially.
Right.
Like that was kind of how they first pitched it, and then they changed to Palpatine. So it doesn't sound, at least in the original phases when they were even pitching things to the actors, like that they really had a cohesive story. So for this one to work, like for Kylo Ren to not have a redemption arc, the way I could see it working would be to change hers as well and keep her as a nobody that rose up against
which she was in The Last Jedi. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think keeping
kid and everything. Yeah,
I think keeping that would have been a very interesting choice, because then you have a nobody going up against a Skywalker.
Yeah.
/Solo / so you have this legacy of full darkness, and your lineage, your ancestors kind of saved the galaxy, and now you're hell-bent on destroying it, and here comes this nobody out of the light to kind of come and meet you. So I think that would have been an interesting thing, rather than have because I think she would have been screwed, like Palpatine plus Kylo Ren full darkness mode versus Rey.
Yeah.
I think there would have been some dynamic. You would have had to keep
her
something.
Her I am Iron Man moment.
Yeah,
so
right.
just
Like I think
with her.
Yeah.
So I think there would have been a few changes needed to make that make sense. But I think my favorite, like just trying to think through this, is forget Palpatine coming back. Forget, somehow he returned, whatever. Just have that final showdown of light versus dark, Kylo versus Rey, nobody versus Skywalker, and just have them just go.
I would have found it much more satisfactory. I totally agree with you.
And you can end it the same way too. You could have her still be the true Skywalker to the name of Rey Skywalker. Like she took it more than he did. He might be a Skywalker by blood, but she really took that torch and kept it going.
Water is thicker than blood kind of situation.
Exactly, right? So you still end up with that same Rey Skywalker dynamic of no, she fixed that lineage. She took it back to the light. And if she's calling herself Rey Skywalker, that's a better continuation of Luke and Leia and Anakin and everything else than Kylo Ren could have been. So I think you can end up in the same place, but have a very different way to get there. So I just thought that was an interesting kind of thought experiment kind of thing of I wonder if they kept that, what could they do? So I kind of like that. I'd love to hear what people thought about that one. If you're listening, hit us up in Discord, hit me up on Instagram. I want to know what people think about this one.
Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencastr. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencastr is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution. Provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencastr because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencastr has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencastr? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencaster. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencaster's multi-layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencaster's post-production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with a click of a button. So if you're interested in making an easy, high-quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to zencastr.com/SFU and use our code SFU, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show.
I want to get now. Drip, I just saw you share a little bit on on Instagram. Thank you for that, man. I'm trying to check.
You hit
Check.
record.
Yeah, I'm trying to check a few things right now because I asked a question, and we're gonna get into Star Wars in 2024. What's coming up? What are we looking forward to? Basically, what are our personal hype levels for all the projects that we know about? Are there any projects that we want to hear about or learn more about, or something that we hope they announce this year that we just haven't seen? So to start off, I'm going to just grab some of these questions. I asked a question: what project are you most excited for? I did that in Instagram stories. We have a couple of write-ins, and then we'll each we'll kind of go through and talk about like the confirmed project that we know and our individual hype levels. So first off, Asian Sith Mistress is the most hyped for the Acolyte, saying please be good, fingers crossed, exclamation marks. Agreed. High Republic, like Sith infiltrating the Jedi, seeing some of the High Republic Jedi that we know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to go for this one. I am excited. We got Sith Acolyte. Weirdly enough, Acolyte did not pick Acolyte for his top show. He went with
Acolyte
Andor
out.
season 2. If
Oh
we
God,
get it,
yes.
we'll see.
Yeah.
Jack, thanks for writing in that one. Just that Star Wars girl who, congratulations. I think she just won a lightsaber the other day from a contest that I entered.
Oh, cool.
I'm a little upset that I didn't win, but congrats, whatever. Acolyte is her most hyped, and the most hyped by the general public, she said. So Acolyte is most hyped by the general public, but I'm most excited for Andor, Tales of the Jedi Season 2, and Bad Batch.
Yes.
So she picked like basically anything. But, yeah.
Those two right there.
And
I was going to say I'll jump in one that you didn't see, but in a private chat I had with Todd and John, my two best buddies. Todd, who's our co-host here, said the Acolyte could be good. Not sure about the Skeleton Crew. Kids are rarely good main characters,
which is
that's
hilarious.
That is sometimes tough to argue with. So especially in because it's live action, right? If I'm not mistaken, Jude Law and a bunch of space kids. Yeah.
Yep.
I see where he's coming from.
Charlie, I wish people are going to think we coordinated this because the last write-in that I have from Instagram comes from Jimmy K. Foe saying Skeleton Crew is the most excited one for his list.
That's the absolute beauty of fandom is that, and particularly, if I was to look at this slate and you really summed it up quite nicely, again, we're 41 minutes. Okay. Before I talk about Star Trek for the first time, something that guys, if you don't know, the main show I host on our network is a Star Trek show. I'm the Star Trek guy in the universe in general. I run a big club. I run a big region for the International Fan Club. Something that Star Trek has really done well in the last decade is to embrace diversity in the shows that they produce. So they have an animated program. They have a show set in the future that's a little bit more focused on diversity. They have shows that are set in a more traditional atmosphere, where it's more episodic. They have shows that are filmed with legacy characters, Star Trek Picard and all the ones from the Next Generation. So when I look at the slate of things that we're pretty sure that we're getting in 2024, it's nice and diverse. animated with the Bad Batch. Yes, we have some season 2s, we have some season 1s, but the Alkalite Andor is really the best thing dramatically that Star Wars has done throughout Disney. And that's a tough argument because like Rogue One I would put above it, but Andor, I mean, really we're talking about the same ecosystem between those two things. But Tales of the Jedi, again, the Skeleton Crew, I'm skeptical. Bad Batch I've enjoyed. I mean, we've done extensive commentary on Bad Batch because we've been following that one since the beginning, and really the same thing with Andor. But to look at these projects, I don't see one that's really iffy the way that like Book of Boba Fett was really iffy, or Kenobi had some moments that were slow and groany that were just like, oh, really, they went there. These are all kind of fresh takes, and I think that that's really exciting. If Star Wars doesn't move in that direction, then it just becomes lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, my age-old analogy of pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean, if it's just the same thing over and over again, your audience is going to erode. So it looks like a great slate to me. I mean, I think it's all very exciting.
Let's tackle it one by one. So we're gonna start, I guess, Tales of the Jedi. Let's start with Drip this time. Where's your hype level for this one?
I'm absolutely hyped for that one because like it's Tales of the Jedi, and as the name implies, it's Jedi. There's lightsabers. Got my attention. I actually have a playlist on my TikTok right now, and y'all can go watch it too, where I say Jedi. I think I said Jedi. I hope to see in Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The Jedi that deserve their own episodes or stories or whatever. And I would go with Jedi like who did I say? Kit Fisto, Plo Koon, Jocasta Nu, Opal Rancisis. The Jedi you don't really see or have never spoken, and they're there, but we need to know more about them. So like
about Yara,
want him to. Cypher Diaz, that's a big one.
Yeah,
that's a huge one. Yeah, we need to see that.
The mystery.
I just finished the Count Dooku book. If you haven't read it, pick that one up. Does a decent amount of Cypher Diaz stuff. Great stuff on his background, how he ended up, how he was, and what he has, like a very special force power kind of thing. Yeah. Check out that book. Really good. I grabbed the audiobook because I just listened to it on my way back and forth from work.
But I'm excited for that one because I'm like, the first season, I love the first season. So like, what could they do with this season?
Yeah.
So, I think for the first season they focused more on like Dooku, Qui-Gon, and Ahsoka. Because those were the main characters in each episode, right? So, like, the last few were Ahsoka, and the first few was Dooku and Qui-Gon. The second season, I feel like they should do, like, how I said, like, every single Jedi who doesn't really have much info about them as an episode. Yeah. Let's be real. A lot of us don't. I'm one of them. We need we need to see it, Exactly. Make an episode about it. And I'm up to 9, I think. Like, if I think of some more, I'll make some,
Didn't you say Ben Solo?
That one's tricky because of the fact that Ben Solo isn't first of all in that era, and really a Jedi. But I think Jedi Master Malk actually said Ben Solo on Twitter, and I said, you know what, that would be pretty interesting. So I did it, and of course the TikTok comments went off like, "Oh, this wouldn't work." Ben Solo, I still did it, but
that would work absolutely because then you get a glimpse through Ben into Luke Skywalker's academy. Which we haven't seen yet. We've seen the downfall.
Right.
We've seen
a branch into something we've not seen, which is, again, as I said, extraordinarily critical to not. One of my biggest criticisms of the Marvel comics, which again, Mark and I, we've talked about going through and doing some of them on this show, is that they just tend to tromp over the same old ground. They're afraid to take those creative risks, to step forward, to go back, to go far forward. We just were jammed in this same 5 to 7 year period of the original trilogy, and it's just how much can they do? Before it's just before it's what's my quote, Mark? I always say, what did Lando have for breakfast the Tuesday after the last scene in Empire? Who cares? Just give us something thematically.
I want to know what cape he was wearing.
You're stealing Todd Extra's line there. Don't steal his material. He likes to talk about Lando's capes, but give us something thematically that's daring, that's interesting. Andor is interesting because it's daring. It takes a sharper edge. F the Empire, right? Didn't see that coming. Didn't see that whole last episode just fomenting the rebellion and everything that comes with it, So take an edge, do something different.
Yeah. Right. We could step out we could see a live action like, Kyle Katarn if they do.
If they did that. That's the other thing too, is they would they complained that the animation, because if hypothetically they did ban, that would mean that it would be Clone Wars style. And I saw a post on Twitter. It was like Rey, Kyle Kestis, and Ben, and a few other characters from like the sequels or whatever. And it was Clone Wars anime. And they was like, what would they look like Clone Wars style? So that's a big controversy right there, is leave sequel characters out of Clone Wars animation.
I mean, what difference does it make? Because our Rebels characters transitioned into Ahsoka, and it's just not that much of a suspension of disbelief to picture an animated character, which is essentially humanoid, and most of the characters in Star Wars are very close. It's like a Star Trek character. It's, they got a couple of extra flippers on them, or their skin is a different color. It's not that hard. It's not that far afield to say, O'Hara has green skin and Leku around her back, so what? But, Sabine looks like a regular person. Ezra looks like a regular person. It's just not difficult to go back and forth.
I'd love to see Tales of the Jedi on Balin's skull. Actually, speaking of like the
Jedi,
God, like we need to see a Balin's skull video.
Definitely,
That's he was a Jedi. Hugh Yang said it himself when he was comparing the lightsabers of Shin Hati and Balin. He said, "This one I don't recognize, Shin Hati's, but this one I only knew one Jedi." He said Jedi to make his lightsaber like that, and that was Balin's skull. Okay, he said Jedi. What was his life like as a Jedi? We need to see that next.
Because she was even like,
because she said, "Do you miss it?"
Like, bro,
what did he go?
He was a Jedi for sure, and a Jedi that knew Anakin in the Order. So like he was in the shit with Anakin, with Obi-Wan, with everyone. Like he's coming up at the same time. He's age appropriate to be in the war with them. We just maybe never saw him in Clone Wars or whatever. But like.
Yeah,
there's parallel stories there that he was in it.
He was there. Yeah.
I need to see more of that lightsaber too. That great saber. Hell yeah. All right, Tales of the Jedi. So I think your hype level is very similarly high to Drips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Any other Jedi that you'd want to see featured?
Like it Tales of Jedi?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, definitely want to see, like we was talking about with the Ben Solo, because we could also see like Kyle Katarn as well. You know what I'm saying? We could see like how the Order went down for Luke's era. You know what I'm saying? And then who else were we talking about? We want to see.
Let me see. I said there's Evan Peel, because we see him in the episode or the Citadel arc where he died. Not passed away, but he died. Same thing.
Yeah.
But what was his life as a Jedi before that? He was in episode 1, but he didn't say anything. Oh, Depa Billaba, she's another one.
Yeah.
Kanan's.
Yeah.
Mace Windu's Padawan. What's her life like? Those are big ones.
That's quite the lineage too. Yeah, like connecting those dots from Mace to her to Kanan to Ezra to Sabine. Like that's a big continuation there, kind of thing too, right?
I definitely want to see Joe Costa though.
Oh, Joe Costa. Yeah, that's the chief librarian.
Yeah, I want
to see an interesting one because a lot of people hate her.
Yeah.
See something like that. I want to see her in action.
Yeah, because that one episode was someone else. Clonus or whatever.
I want to see her actually.
And her death isn't really, well, it is, I guess, canon. It's in a comic, but like, I seen like I read something where she had 2 deaths, kind of like Shakti. So like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the comic that was she's up against Vader and she used that like crazy lightsaber gun against him, where you load like the shots are actually lightsabers that you're shoot, like just insane kind of stuff. So I'd like to see that in animated kind of stuff. Charlie, Charlie, where's your hype level for Tales of the Jedi? Did you enjoy the first one? Is this kind of like?
I did. I would like to see it move beyond just kind of, again, treading familiar ground. Let's see some different Jedi. Let's see.
Right.
I like the thought of jumping it forward as well. Give me a big, nice, long, Luke Skywalker arc. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
So I consider that to be interesting. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I'm super excited, and my hype level for this one can rise and fall. So I'm gonna say like medium to high right now, but depending on who they pick, who they focus on, my hype level could go through the roof or it could stay mid. It's Tales of the Jedi. I love the Jedi. So it's always going to be at least like medium excitement. I'm going to watch the hell out of this and enjoy it. But it could be like, this is the best ever, depending on who they pick. So we'll see where they go. Next up, Skeleton Crew. Let's keep it on going, starting with Drip. Where are you at with this one? This is like an Amblin Entertainment, Goonies in Space.
Yeah,
Low?
It's pretty low, honestly, because I don't really know much about it.
Yeah.
I know some of my friends have posted about it, like IND Yoda, Caleb. He's very hype about it. In fact, he did a collab with some other creators about Skeleton Crew, and the cast saw it, which was awesome. And I need to look into it. I need to know what the show's about.
Yeah.
And then maybe my hype level will rise. You know what I'm saying? And same for Acolyte. I've been kind of out of the loop for a while, mostly because I've been working and just focusing on sabers. But yeah, I'll watch it though. I'm definitely willing.
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's about kids, right? And they're in Star Wars. That's all I got though.
Yeah.
And then what's his name? Charlie, help me out here. Who's the dude?
Jude Law.
Jude Law. Thank you.
That's the name
he's
I know.
He's apparently a Force user. We don't know if he's a Jedi or a fallen Jedi or something. It's happening around the same time as the Mandoverse stuff. So if he's a Jedi, he was real young at the Order 66 and has survived up until this point. And it's yeah. And he's helping these kids get back from the Outer Rim, or they got lost somehow, and he's helping them out. So that's all I know. It's very, very secretive of this. Yeah,
it sounds very similar. If I can jump in, and I'll say, there's a similar concept. Again, it's animated and it's in Star Trek in this case, a show called Star Trek Prodigy, which unfortunately got dumped during the whole shuffle with Paramount Plus earlier this year. Netflix grabbed it. They're bringing that first season back and dumping it on Netflix on Christmas Day. The second season will drop in assumingly early 2024. But it's the same thing. It was a group of alien kids that ended up finding a ship that had a holographic character of Kate Mulgrew's character, which is Captain Janeway, very classic Star Trek Voyager. And that ended up being a great show in an animated fashion. In live action, I just don't, I mean, Jude Law is an exceptional actor, but we've seen exceptional actors in Star Trek or Star Wars productions that didn't always end up being so great. So I just don't know. Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm kind of with you, Drip. I'm a little low to mid because I don't really know anything else about what are they going to do? Like he's helping them get back. Is that's 8 episodes of him helping them get from point A to point B? I mean, and then they get into a little something like Mando, like, oh yeah, you got to do this thing over here, and it's just I don't know. I don't know if that is going to sustain a series because Boba Fett didn't sustain the series. It was a drag, in my opinion. It was a big drag. It just not every character deserves her own story. And again, we're talking about a bunch of unknowns, so it might be fantastic, but for me, it's a big question mark right now. I have no idea.
Right. KingBee, where are you feeling on this one?
Kind of the same. Kind of the same. Honestly, I don't really know much about it yet, but it could be cool. Definitely, it could be cool.
Very true.
It
could be cool.
I have high hopes for this one, simply because I've heard it tossed around that it's going to be like the Goonies in space, or like an Amblin Entertainment kind of thing from like, the 70s, 80s, kind of like that E.T., even like Stranger Things vibe. With kids getting into trouble.
Way before the time of these young people here. Talking about Amblin Entertainment.
The Goonies came out before I was born. It's still one of my favorite movies. I still love it.
That's fair. That's fair. It's very iconic. Agreed.
So like if you take that, put it into space, throw in some lightsabers, I'm in. But we haven't seen enough to like really raise the hype levels too high. So we'll see. We'll see. Going back to animation, Bad Batch season 3. How are we feeling about that one? KingBee, I'm seeing you're like already smiling. How are you feeling about this one?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm definitely ready for Bad Batch to come back. I'm gonna be honest with you, because there's so many questions. I'm like with Bad Batch, like with the whole tech, dying thing, and then dying. I don't think he's dead, to be honest. Me neither. With that, and then not to mention,
I don't think he's dead. I don't think he's dead.
I don't think so. Honestly, we didn't see anything. We didn't see like a body. It was like no pulse. We didn't see nothing. He just fell. We know how Dave Filoni he gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
We know how he does it. And then, not to mention, at the end of the episode where she was like, "I'm your sister, Omega." I was like, "What?"
So you're alpha?
So you're alpha, basically. I was like, what?
They're just
like,
teeing it up. It is some cliffhanger soap opera stuff right there. But it sucked us all in. We're definitely down for it. So yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. So, I know we were. Well, go ahead, please.
Oh, and it's crazy too, because it's crazy how, like, when we first met Omega, it was like she was just like this little kid that came, you know what I'm saying, part of them, and she's like, hey, hi, Omega. And when I first saw her, I was like, this kid might be kind of cool. So then when she did the food fight, I'm like, this is my little sister now. So cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do remember too, because a lot of people was hating on Omega before the show even came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
At least or hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, hate at all.
That's dumb. This dumb stuff. But I would say we enjoy, Mark and myself and Kay, who's another collaborator of ours. We were so overlapped with content that we actually broke that one out. We were doing it on our Patreon for a while, and Mark had us doing these nice, like, I would come and I'd do my commentary, he'd toss it over, and we do that. So that was kind of fun. So it's been a while since we really had an occasion to talk about that as a group. So Mark, I look forward to doing that again. But yeah, I've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed the show, and knowing that this is more of a definitive end, and knowing how interconnected Star Wars is, that this could lead into other projects that may reach backwards, that may also end up reaching forwards. It's all very exciting. So I'm excited to see where it goes, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Same here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're the same. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same. Yeah, I mean, especially if they're wrapping this up, I think we're going to see stuff tie in. Charlie, like you just said, like tie into the stuff that they're also talking about with cloning in Mandalorian. Why are they going after Grogu? I think this is going to tie into that kind of stuff. Like, I like you just said, to like Filoni does these crazy things where you don't know. I personally, I think Tech might be dead, but I think Filoni's got some other crazy stuff up.
Right.
I hope Tech's not dead. I will be the happiest person. And Filoni's also crazy.
Yeah.
He's also the crazy guy that brought back Maul and or half of Maul, and like it's
half of Maul. Yeah. Everything is half off at the mall. You got it.
He brought him back.
Yeah. So I could see it both ways. So we'll see. I am very, very hyped for Bad Batch though. Charlie, you also said you already mentioned Andor.
Oh yeah,
being one of the best examples. Let's start with you for this one. Andor season 2.
Andor is the masterpiece theater of Star Wars. Let's face it. It's a masterclass in the drama of what made the original trilogy compelling, with the rebellion and the sense of loss and the sense of scope and what the Empire really is. And Andor found a way to slow burn it forward. I mean, I had my doubts because when they dropped the first 3 episodes of Andor at the same time, and they were all as boring as shit. I was like, oh God, what have we gotten ourselves into? Yeah. And they picked right up. Andor went on that first heist mission, and then it rapidly turned into him being in the prison and escaping and you're returning back home and jumping right in there with the rebellion and watching it just absolutely explode into flames. So season 2, I believe, is going to feature a rapid series of time jumps that's going to take us right up, knocking on the door of Rogue One. So I could not be more hyped. I think it's the most exciting thing going on in Star Wars right now is Andor.
Nice. King, where are you feeling the hype for Andor?
Honestly, I haven't even watched Andor yet, if I'm being honest with you.
We've seen Rogue One. We just haven't seen Andor.
Yeah.
Well,
you haven't seen it.
You got your work cut out for you. Trust it's worth the watch. It's powerful stuff. Very powerful stuff.
We gotta watch that. That's on our list for sure.
We'll definitely watch.
We did catch up on Boba Fett. We hadn't watched a lot of stuff this year. We did catch up on Boba Fett, Mandalorian, and Rebels, all within.
Oh, Jesus.
So that's up next. Is Andor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You gotta hit us back about that then, because I think you'll be impressed. I think it's hard not to be impressed.
Excellent.
We got to rewatch Rogue One, but we did see that one.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of Rogue One. We saw Solo.
Yeah, saw Solo.
I saw Solo as well. That was pretty good.
Yeah, Solo. Yeah, got a lot of shit. Like, and that was like the first Star Wars movie I was ever like, whatever. And I loved it. I was like, this is so great. Like, and that's something that I'm hoping we hear more about, but we'll get to that in a second. But like the just Donald Glover, like, come on, let's give me more of that. For Andor season 2, for me, I'm like, Charlie, I know you loved it, but like it took me such a while to get into it. I honestly
that was tough. I got it.
For this season, like
when we watch it.
Yeah. I really hope they just pick it, and I think they will because of the time jumps, but I hope they just pick it up and just run with it right from the start.
More pasting. Yeah.
Don't take 4 episodes to like get me interested, because like if we weren't doing this podcast, I would have ducked out of Andor like 2 episodes.
It was a slog. It was a slog in that first, quarter and a half. So I'll give you that. But now, it took them some time to find their footing, but they did find it. Think about how many shows that never do, So exactly. No, I totally feel you.
So the last one, Acolyte, live action, High Republic, first live action thing we've seen High Republic in Young Jedi Adventures, the Disney Junior cartoon that my son loves, but otherwise we haven't really seen too much.
Watch them.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I love that show. I'll talk about that one for days. But like, let's stick to the Acolyte for this one. Acolyte season 1. Drip, where are you feeling some hype levels on this one?
Acolyte goes back to Skeleton Crew. I don't know much about that one, but given the name, I'm guessing that's about the Sith, which would of course include lightsabers. So I'm definitely willing to watch that one. Yeah, and
got your button.
Right. And I think you mentioned you said High Republic or Old Republic?
High
Republic.
Yeah.
I don't know about the High Republic, but this will get me into it as well.
I think that's gonna be a good change of pace, because I know more about like the Old Republic, the game, but I know like I've seen like the books and like the characters from like the High Republic. You know what I'm saying? Like I saw this one girl, I forgot who she was, but like she had like, I think it was a purple saber kind of, but she was like, I forgot, but like I think it'd be really cool to see something like that. If they're in the High Republic.
So my hype level is low, but I'm definitely willing to watch that one.
I'm kind of like in like right here in the middle.
I guess to be surprised. I guess
maybe.
And being surprised is great stuff. I agree with you. And again, I take it from a point where to branch out is the only way that you're going to survive. And this is the thing that's taking us back the furthest that we've gone in live action in particular, and canonically, obviously, in on screen. And that's great. We've got some decent talent that I know Daphne Keane, who was X-23 in Logan. That's the only cast member I can think of. Yeah. Mark, enlighten me if you can think of other people that are going to be in the cast.
Well, Amanda Steinberg is the Acolyte. She's the main, or they're the main.
Gotcha.
I think
gotcha.
Yeah.
So this is a Jedi Sith thing happening in that High Republic era. So though I will admit I'm not as well read up, but we will get there. But it would be incredible. I mean, we would have 5 great shows to talk about in the next 12 months. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah. And that's like my hype level, I think is where like you guys are. Like it's I know this is going to have lightsabers. I know this is going to have Jedi. It's going to be about the Sith coming back after the Jedi thought they were all defeated and infiltrating the Jedi Academy, infiltrating the Jedi Order, pretending, being in this double agent, sleeper agent. The Acolyte is about that person going in and seeing what the Order is all about and messing things up from the inside because no one knows that the Sith still exists. It's going to be badass as hell. We might see a young Yoda in the prime of his life, just badass, ready to go. There's a Wookiee Jedi already confirmed.
Right.
We're going to see some shit.
Because that's the thing about it being the High Republic. Before you said that, I was actually about to say that. That's crazy because if it's the High Republic, I know that's his era when he was a lot younger in his prime.
Yeah. If I see
that's going to be interesting.
It's over.
I need to see what I need to see, and don't just throw anything in there, but I need to see like what a Yoda species is actually called.
Yeah, what's their name?
Right.
Like, give them a
name.
It's a Groot if you didn't know it.
It's a yeah.
But finally coming out.
I'm sure they'll drop that one. I expect them to drop that one in Mando, but I'd be surprised if that'd be a pleasant surprise if we got it like just a weird little drop in the Acolyte and be like, oh man, that's what the species is. That'd be great.
Yeah, right.
We're going a little bit long. But what was that?
I'll make a whole video series on that.
I'm ready to go. So I want the final thing that I want to ask you guys, for like things that we haven't heard about. There's some things that we know exist, but we haven't heard a ton about. I'm going to list off a couple right now. Like Rey's new Jedi. They're apparently writing the script, the new movie. Filoni's Mandoverse movie, kind of to wrap up that whole Mando, Book of Boba Fett, even Skeleton Crew, all that kind of stuff. Sounds like it's coming together in a movie. The Lando movie, which I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, James Mangold's like Dawn of the Jedi, going back 25,000 years or whatever to the very first Jedi. There's other things too. Like I fully expect Vision Season 3 to not only be announced, but probably come out this year.
Probably animated project,
right? Another animated project. That they just kind of dropped those. So like. Go ahead, Joe.
I'm kind of twofold, if I can jump in.
Yeah,
I think that the populace in general will say, "Oh, Filoni's Mandoverse movie," because it's the Avengers of Star Wars. We're bringing together all the stars of the different corners of everything that's been happening since 2019, since Mando came on. But my deep personal love for Donald Glover says the Lando movie is the thing that I think will absolutely be the best. I enjoyed Solo very much, but he stole the show. He stole every scene. I've been a huge fan for a long time. So if these are things that are filming in 24 that we would see in probably late 25 or 26, the Lando movie definitely captures my imagination. Like I said, sequel trilogy, not really for me the same way it was for you, Mark. And Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi movie, so many things get talked about. This is going to be the new thing. We're going to have Patty Jenkins in our X-Wing movie, which Mark and I were holding out hope for the longest time because we're X-Wing guys and it was going to be so great. And they just kept jerking us around about that one. So I would say the masses are down with the Filoni movie, and I know I would enjoy it, but I want to see Donald Glover doing his thing. That's where my core big screen excitement would be for Star Wars time being.
Yeah. What about you two? Any big hype things that they either have or could talk about? Like if you guys have I want them to do Old Republic movie. Like what could they announce this year that'd get you excited?
Now that one's kind of controversial. I've heard a lot of people say we don't need an Old Republic movie or they don't want an Old Republic movie. I think we need an Old Republic movie.
Yeah.
Because for
who knows?
Right. Every movie that we have or every show that we have, you're going to hear Skywalker. It's a Skywalker saga. Go back before Skywalker. Learn about Revan. Learn what Sean says. Darth Malgus, that kind of stuff. Because
way before,
not everyone games like us, so we need a show about it or a movie about it.
Right. Right. Yeah, you can't think that people are going to care about game content when that is admittedly such a small part of the overall fan. People have to see something on TV or in a movie before it's quote unquote real of them. At least to the John Q. Media consumer, not somebody who reads comics. Like I'm a comic guy, you're a game guy, Mark's a game guy, and that's all well and good. But you tell somebody who knows Grogu, like, what about Darth Malingus? What the hell are you talking about? I know Baby Yoda. That's what I know. Because that's what average people are the ones that make it possible for these things to get made because they support this material. They go see those movies. They subscribe to Disney Plus. So anyway,
back to you guys. What do you think?
I'm actually kind of excited to see Rey's movies, to be honest, because how would she train because Luke's gone and he had his own order. How would Rey run her Jedi order? Like, would she go old traditional or would she do her way? Would she use a saber or a saber staff because she used a pike? That kind of stuff is running through my head when I watch the trailers, stuff. And that Jedi one you mentioned, Mark, that goes back thousands of years for the first Jedi. Yeah. That could tie into Old Republic as well, because in the Old Republic, if you play the Jedi Council story, you can learn about the first few Jedi, because that's part of your mission is when you make your first lightsaber. You learn about, I believe his name was Rajavari, one of the first ever Jedi who formed the Jedi Order, but he turned to the dark side, because most Sith were once Jedi who turned to the dark side. So I thought that would be exciting too, because
it's easy to do.
Towards the Old Republic, because we're in the Old Republic era.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and Ahsoka.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah.
What was the last one? Yeah.
I said Ahsoka, decide to do that one because I don't think that if it was me, I would not just settle on this planet. We got to get back home too. We already got Ezra home.
Gotta get back
Right.
home. This ain't home Ahsoka. This is
I'm
not
really
home.
wondering if they do that in a season 2 or if they do that for the Mandoverse movie. It could tie
And
in
let-
either way, right?
Do it in 15 minutes of that first movie, because be like, hey, we're swinging by and picking you up. Be ready.
Well,
Have your laundry done.
Yeah, I mean they have kind of that precedent now of like, oh, like they told Ezra how they got there. Cool. I know where it is. I know how to talk to the space whales. Let's get them back. Okay,
To the
cool. Let's
space
go
whales.
fight Thrawn. Ready?
Yeah, right.
It's like,
And let's pick up Mando and Boba and
Luke,
whomever else you want to pick
cast.
up. Luke. Exactly. Maybe the droids want to come. Leia, Han if he's not busy. Bring the kid. Whatever it takes.
Tie that into the Lando movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Lando. Totally.
Yeah.
There you go. Block.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ready to go. Yeah, man. There's so much. I gotta say, like Donald Glover and his brother taking over and writing the Lando movie. I love that he's that invested in the character that he wants to do it right. He has this vision. He sees where it needs to go. He's a talented dude. Like for him to just be like, no, like I'm gonna write this myself. Like my brother and I are taking this. We love the character. We're making sure we do this our way, the right way, like that we want it, so I can act as the character the way it has to go. Like that to me is filling me with a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
But I'm also excited about Rey's new Jedi. Like I want to see a little bit more. I don't think we're going to get a ton. We might get like a filming date or like the script is finished. We're going to start filming late this year or early 25. But like, I think we'll hear more about like the Lando movie before we hear about Rey's stuff. I could be wrong on that one. It's going to be an exciting year though. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Big time. And we will be here to talk about it because that's what we do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fellas, thank you so much for joining us. We'll wrap it up here. Please, before we go, if people for some dumb reason are not already following you everywhere, tell them where they can find you on the internet. KingBee, you go first.
You can find me obviously on Instagram. I have about 3 accounts. I have my main account, KingBee 2002. I have my other account. I actually have a comic book account. I'm actually making my own universe, my comic book universe. You can go follow me on there too. I'll talk to y'all too. There, I have another one, but I barely use that one. So probably just those two. And then I have a Twitter, same thing, KingBee, and TikTok. I have same thing, the real KingBee. That's my
We
TikTok.
put the real because there's a lot of impersonators impersonating us lately.
Yeah, the real. Yeah.
And for me, it's just the Drip Jedi on all platforms: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok.
Oh, and on YouTube, you can go follow my YouTube, KingBee, but the E and B is 3. KingBee, all caps.
Right. Very nice.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's what we do.
Very good. Mark, what about you?
You can find me everywhere as _Canardian. That's mostly Instagram, TikTok, a little bit of Threads, and of course, hanging out in the Secret Friends Unite Discord channel.
Discord channels where it's at. A long time ago now, or it seems like a long time ago, I gave up X, so I'm just over on Threads and Instagram. I am C3 Carpenter. You can find me there. My wife April and I do actually run the USS Grand Petoskey. It's one of the biggest chapters of the International Star Trek Fan Club in the world. I also run Region 13, which includes Michigan and Eastern Canada, where Mark is. And we would love to chat with you if you happen to be a Trekker. Find us at fsi.org, USS Grand Petoskey, or Google Region 13 SFI, and you will find us. Reach on out and be happy to chat with you. So, friends, as always, thank you for joining us. I'm going to tell you that sharing is caring, and to keep on trucking.
May the force be with you. Rex, play us out.